This is the Marketing Boss Podcast, where today's top marketing professionals reveal their best tips, tools, and strategies, and we all become better leaders because of it. And here's your host, video marketing expert, Rochelle Hatton.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It is another great episode of the Marketing Boss Podcast, brought to you by Fresh Level, a video marketing agency. I am your host, Parshell Hatton. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. I'm excited to have Laura Templeton of 30 Second Success with me on the show today. And today, guys, we're talking about a really great marketing strategy that has been near and dear to my heart when I got started, which is networking. So we're talking about networking as a marketing strategy, how we can ditch the pitch and really start connecting. So you guys are going to really love and enjoy what we're going to share today. So let me introduce Laura Templeton and introduce you guys to her. She is the founder and CEO of 30 Second Success, a company helping professionals make better connections and obtain more business in 30 seconds or less. Laura's passion for helping people succeed, her creative writing skills, and her 15-plus years of experience in direct sales and personal development collided when she stepped into a leadership role with a national networking organization. Her desire to support her members identified a need for professional consulting on creating their 30-second commercials for networking and video. She now has a thriving business built around crafting branded messaging that connects on a deeper level and teaching people to use networking as a marketing strategy through building better connections. You guys are going to really, really enjoy Laura. Laura, thank you so much for being with me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, before we jump into the interview, I definitely want to acknowledge and thank those who've connected with us so far on social media. Definitely find me, Parshell Hatton, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And also check out our private LinkedIn group called the Marketing Boss Club. That's where other marketing professionals like us can collaborate and grow and share information. So again, that's the Marketing Boss Club on LinkedIn. Come on and join the group. All right, we got that stuff out of the way. I'm so excited to talk with Laura today. So Laura, to give us some context, how did you get started in marketing in this role with your business today?
Well, for me, it was really interesting. I started out, I've been for years, about 15 years in direct sales, doing a lot of networking and using marketing as my business strategy. And when you are in a sales position, you get a lot of training, and there's a lot of training involved in that. And, so there's a lot of components that go into that, the personal development, the sales training, the opportunity to train others. Just being able to have that coaching along those, that period of time in my life where I was, doing direct sales. And I found that networking was a really great way for me to connect with a lot of people. I love people. So that's my passion. I like to be surrounded by people, especially when you're in a sales position where you're kind of on your own and you're not really in an office on a daily basis. It's a great way to connect and still feel connected with the people around you, and also just building those really top level relationships that people, start to refer you for other business. And what happened was I was networking with a women's organization local in my area for a couple of years, and they were looking for a leader, and I stepped into a leadership role. And when I did that, I found that a lot of people really struggled with their 30-second commercials. Now, I had kind of been aware of it, and, I really worked on my 30-second commercial, over years of developing, that personal development and reading a lot of books on how-tos, and found that when I looked around the room and saw how many people were struggling with their 30-second commercial, it made my heart hurt. I just felt so bad. I would hear people do their 30-second commercial, and I would literally see them physically in pain, like struggling to do their 30-second commercial, or they would just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and you would literally see the people in the rest of the room going like, oh my gosh, when is she going to finish? And so I started offering help. And when I did, I started helping people, and it was amazing to me to watch the transformation in some people when they would have that branded message that really got to who they were and really touched on their heart of how they serve their clients, and sharing that with their audience was huge. And seeing that transformation, then word got out that I was helping people. So it was kind of cool. And I started getting a lot of requests for teaching other groups how to do the 30-second commercial, asked to do some speaking events, just helping people, because at that time in our area, there's really, and there still is very limited access to people who do what I do in actually writing commercials for people. And that's really where stepping into that marketing side of things and understanding branding, taking all of that background that I had and understanding the branding and really getting to that emotional side, that emotional piece that sometimes we're really afraid to tap into when it comes to professional life. And I've had some really great training from other professionals regarding emotional intelligence, which is, if you know Jen Groover, she's one of my favorite people. She absolutely touched my heart by sharing how important it is to really tap into the emotional side to connect with people and the value that brings to who you are and what you do and marketing yourself. Because really, even if we're working for someone else, we're still marketing ourselves. It's about who we are as a person and what we bring to that table when we're presenting the company that we're standing for.
That's totally awesome. When it comes to, of course, that 30-second commercial anyway, a lot of people who may be listening are probably thinking, well, I don't do a lot of networking, or, I don't do that much to where I need it. But honestly, everyone in business in some point or another still has to explain in a very memorable way what it is that they do, or they're going to have to be up in front of people at some other point in time. And so I definitely see that having that sort of, that script, if you will, or that way of explaining what you do, to be really vital to how we really, verbally share, and even in our branding, what it is that we do and the value that we bring. So I find that very powerful. I've been in many situations where I've, you grow in confidence to know what to say in those moments. And it's funny how, as you test things out, how people respond differently to when you maybe had more energy versus when you were, when you first did it, where you didn't have as much energy, or maybe there was a key phrase that really had the light bulb to turn on for people to really get a really good understanding of what it is that we do in business or whatever. So I love that. I mean, I find that to be extremely valuable, and I recommend, of course, if anybody needs, I've seen Laura's work firsthand, so if anyone is in need of knowing what to say and how you can really script that, she is the go-to person, trust me. So I know that when it comes to networking, a lot of times for a lot of small business owners, it's just seen as this boring opportunity just for exchanging cards with random people you don't know. And I know that that's not the case. What's been your experience, and what advice do you have for people who have that mindset, who think, this is just about me just coming to give my business card to everybody in the room?
Yeah, and that's a really great question, and because a lot of people have a very misconceived notion about networking, because, a lot of networking organizations started out with that business card exchange type of model or referral type of model. And what I find that when people grasp the idea that having that branded message and having that, having that quick answer when somebody says, oh, so what do you do, really opens up an opportunity for you to start a conversation. And when those conversations happen and people want to know more about what it is that you do, there's a huge opportunity. And what that opportunity is, it's an opportunity to build relationships. Networking is really about building relationships. And I share this with a lot of clients, that once you have their attention and then they look at you and they go, oh my gosh, how do you do that? Or explain a little bit more to me. The importance of taking it into a one-on-one conversation is so vital in that networking world. Building those relationships, just showing up consistently, being part of the organization, offering to help other people within the organization is huge. But really getting to know the members is where the magic happens. inviting people to one-on-one, let's step outside of the networking group. Let's go grab a cup of coffee. Let's sit down face-to-face where we have one-on-one, each other's attention, where we can really learn about each other and really get to know how we can help one another grow in business. Another key element that I share with a lot of people is the key to networking is not about what you're going to get. It's about what you're going to give. It's really about how can I serve the people in my group? How can I help them grow their businesses? When you make it about other people, and we know this in business, it's, that value, we know this in life, when we make it about other people and no longer about what we're going to get out of the relationship, it just changes our whole mindset. How can I help others? And when we start serving others, it just opens up a door. And when we do it out of a genuine respect and desire to help one another, when it's genuine, when it's heartfelt, it's amazing how that just transforms your relationships within your networking environment. It's that creating that know, like, and trust factor that really comes to life when you start to connect with people in your group and really learning about who they are and how you can help them. And then do it. Help them. Refer them. If you're comfortable and you're confident and you really like them and you know that they're going to do a good job and they show up consistently and they keep their word, and you hear other people expressing what kind of services they offer to their clients, even if you've never used them as, if you've never had the opportunity to be one of their clients, make sure you're listening to what other people that have been their clients are saying. Check, and that's, all part of it. It's, getting to know who they are and how they serve their clients is really important, because then it gives you an opportunity to refer them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's also, I was part of B&I for a number of years when the business was starting. And, one of the, of course, main phrases that they say is that, givers gain. And that I find to be very, very true when it comes to networking groups or just doing business in life, period. Givers gain.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely true.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I really, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And it does, it's applicable to life as well. I like that you shared that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know that, of course, for those who are listening, they might either, be part of a large organization or a company, or, they're starting out as a small business. I still find that, of course, networking is definitely imperative, no matter what stage or what type of business that you're in. But I know we talked a little bit before the show started here that especially for smaller businesses who are starting and may not have, a huge budget, networking as a way to market and share their business is great. It's inexpensive and allows them to get connected personally with some of their target audience, or getting closer to their target audience that much quicker and in a more efficient way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts around that? I know that, again, it can be really valuable for a business that's starting out.
Yeah. For small business owners, for entrepreneurs, for people that are just getting started, it's a great opportunity for people to connect, to get your name out there, to really get to know other people that can support you in business. One of the things I absolutely love about networking is creating and developing what we call power partners. Power partners are people that have very similar client base to you, and that you can refer one another back and forth. It's a great resource for you, because once you get to know people and they're willing to refer you, obviously if they've got similar clients, you can educate them on how to refer you and help them understand who your client base is and how you serve them well. And, for new people just, starting out, don't have a whole big budget for investing in, marketing. The two best things you can do is tap into networking and always have a business card. The power of having a business card, and, it's that viable piece that people can take away. More importantly, I tell people, have a business card, make sure that you take notes. When somebody gives you their business card, make notes on the back of it, how you met, where you met, and make sure that you follow up with them. Thank them for taking the time to meet with you. Thank them for coming out to the networking event and let them know it was really great to meet them, and that maybe you'd like to get together for coffee with them. Make notes on those cards. Again, it's about connecting with your community. A lot of times I will advise people that are pretty new to business. A lot of my clients are fairly new in business, and I will, just kind of refer them and help them understand that you don't have to be involved in a bazillion different organizations. Visit a couple, make it about showing up consistently. Pick 2 or 3 that are really, really good. Have, that you just feel comfortable with the people in the room, that you really feel like these are good connections for you. They understand who your audience is. They may not necessarily be your audience, but they understand who your audience is, and they may have access to your audience. And what I mean by audience is your ideal client, so your target market. So understanding, again, who the people in the room are, getting to know them, and then sticking with it. A lot of times we really need to build that trust factor, and that only happens when we're showing up consistently in our networking. Go to the same group. There's a number of groups that have multiple chapters. A lot of different groups in our area have multiple chapters. So pick one chapter that you really, really feel comfortable with. If that's the area where you want to grow your business, stick with it. I tell people 6 months to a year. You really need to build those relationships for people to start, again, understanding that, that whole building that know, like, and trust factor is key. And that takes time. Become known in that group. Get really comfortable with that group. Help out. You don't necessarily need to be a volunteer to run things like me. I'm the crazy person in the room. I volunteer for everything. But if you're willing to help out, show up a little early. Greet people as they're coming in. Somebody new shows up. Hey, invite them. Tell them where to check in. Show them where the name badges are. Invite them to sit with you. Get to know them. Be the friendly face in the room. People really gravitate to that. It really makes a difference. It's funny because, it's just kind of that habit thing, where I just, will do that on occasion. And, most of the time, because I usually try and be there early. Not always. I don't always make it happen, But when I do, it's amazing because people just automatically assume that you're part of the organization and you're part of running things. I'm like, no, I'm just a member just like you. And, but it's fun, it's fun because it gives you an opportunity to get to know the new people in the room too, and just really help them to feel comfortable and welcome. And it grows the network, so the more people that are in the network, the more opportunity there are for you to network with new people. So inviting new people in is really fun. I just did a Facebook Live yesterday from my truck. And I talk about, it was about don't go it alone. And, a lot of times, we're really intimidated by going to a new networking group. Take a friend. Don't be intimidated. Don't be, shy. But if you are and you'd feel more comfortable, take a friend with you. I love taking new people with me to networking groups. It's great. We have great conversations in the car. And I joked a lot of times. It's funny. I even have I have pictures of different people in my car. And, we joke that not everything that's said in the car stays in the car. It just happens that way. So it's fun, it's just taking people along with you. It's a great way to just, share. Again, it's it's that giving attitude. Who can I help? Who can I take along? Who wants to jump in the car with me? Come on, let's go, So, but it is. It's, that networking. Advice. Yeah, that beginning networking, when you're first starting out, that's a great, think about who can you take. If you know somebody who's starting a new business, invite them to all your networking stuff. Invite them to come with you. But again, get really comfortable with 2 or 3 at the most. Because there is, memberships and things like that. There's some groups that you don't need a membership. Check them all out. It's worth looking at, see where you're comfortable, and then decide on 2 or 3 and show up on a regular basis.
Absolutely. No, like I was just saying that's wonderful advice for, just tips and reminders for networking. It's definitely about relationship. It's about finding, really inexpensive way to, especially when you're getting going, to get closer to your audience, either directly or, by referral or someone who has access to your audience. And, really using it as a way to have that support system as well. Because being in business can sometimes be a lonely road, or at least it can feel that way. But when you have the support of another group and people who want to see you succeed, it makes a huge difference. So I definitely stand by networking. It's been huge for my business in terms of what we've been able to do, and I know it's been that for a lot of other companies as well. So I'm definitely excited, Laura, that you've been able to share this information with us today. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about maybe some tips or really quick things that you could share about how we can really craft or at least get started with crafting that 30-second commercial, or maybe we already have one, but it could use some sprucing up. As we start to wrap up here, what would be some advice that you would share related to having that 30-second commercial to be constructed better or well? I know that they can speak with you further in more detail specifically for their business or their industry, but what are some quick tips or advice that you could share with us about sharing our 30-second pitches?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and I need, without giving away all the trade secrets here, right?
Right.
No, I don't mind. What I learned from books. It's not, there's nothing secret to what I do when I help people. The biggest thing is remember your clients, it's just like any other marketing strategy. Think about it. It's like the commercials on TV. They identify what the pain is. Then they help you figure out how, then they tell you how they're going to fix it for you. That's the biggest thing. Just remember you're talking to your clients and your potential clients. What is it that you solve for your clients? That's the point you need to get across. And then make sure you have a really strong call to action. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to schedule an appointment with you today? That's what I tell people. Schedule an appointment with me today. Boom. Have a really strong call to action. You want them to visit your website. You want them to sign up for a program. What is it that you want them to do? And then the biggest tip that I can give everybody is when you are done your commercial, make sure you say your name and your company at the very end. And the reason why I say that, and I coach everybody through that, you might start out your commercial with your name and company. But let's put it this way. If you are in an industry that's extremely familiar, say you're a realtor or a financial advisor or somebody that's in an industry that's very familiar, and people go, oh, real estate, I know what she does. Boop, they turn off. They stop listening to you. You've got to grab their attention in the first 7 seconds. First 7 seconds of what you have to say. You've got to grab their attention for them to continue listening to what you have to say. So don't waste your breath on saying your name and your company, especially if you have a really long last name. Save it for the end. Because what happens is they're going, oh my gosh, I need to know more about what they do. What's their name? It gives them an opportunity to remember who you are, to write it down once you've got their attention. So that's the biggest tip that I can share with everybody here. If you take nothing else away from it, that's the one thing I always say. Even if you start with it, always end with your name and your company at the end.
Absolutely. You guys definitely heard it here. These are great tips and great strategies for us who are out there networking in our businesses. So, Laura, thanks so much for being with us today. How can people reach out to you? I know that really from that 30-second commercial alone and how they can better construct that, you guys definitely want to reach out to her. Where can people find you, reach out to you? What's the best method?
Well, it's really easy. My website is 30secondsuccess.com, and it's 30 and then the word second and success spelled out. So it's 30secondsuccess.com, and that's how you can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook too. So 30secondsuccess.com.
Awesome. I'm so excited you've been with me today. I love talking about networking and really how we can utilize it in our businesses. So you guys definitely reach out to Laura. Find her on social media, follow her. She's always sharing some really exciting information in terms of, events and some other things that she's doing. So definitely check that out. But I want to thank you guys for joining with us today. This has been another great episode. So you guys, until next time, remember, a good boss is a good leader. Let's go out there and serve our gift to the world because you're the boss. see you guys next time.
Thanks so much for listening to the Marketing Boss Podcast with your host, video marketing expert, Parshall Houghton. We'll catch you next time.